Hello, hello, hello. Good
Oh,
evening.
yes.
Good evening, YouTube land. Doesn't look like evening, it still looks afternoon here in sunny
Yeah,
London.
nice and bright there.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? All right? You good, local?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Been busy today fixing my e-bike. Uh,
Oh, yeah, you got it back, didn't you?
got it serviced now. Left it overnight yesterday. Spent a whole load of dosh on it. But yeah, I read it for the first time being fixed, and it it feels like a new bike, like a brand new bike.
Nice.
So they did a good
Should
job.
do for the money you pay for it,
Yeah, I
really.
left the.
Yeah.
They wanted three figures for the for fixing it, and I left
Yeah.
the mechanic a good tip as well for doing a great job. How you doing? What
Yeah,
you
I'm
been
all
up
good.
to today?
It's just been
Enjoying the
hot.
sun?
No, well, yeah, working, but it's just too hot to sit in the sun, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
Last week was. It's all good. I love it. I love it. It's the register then.
Ah, sorry about that.
Get
Right,
on
where were we? So
the old register.
28 degrees today, age 28 degrees. I don't know where my mind is. It's just drifting because it's so hot.
Yeah, it's like a month or two early, isn't it? It's a bit weird.
Is it the dehydration? Do I need to drink more water?
Yeah, definitely more water.
Yeah, I've got some. What is this? Pepsi Max.
The water around my way got the whole town got switched off for like 24 hours.
Shit.
And I got home from work about 7:45 and the shop shut at 8. And I went and there was a queue outside, so I was like, "Well, what's going on there?" And I went there, and everyone told me, and I went to look at the drinks, and there was no water, there was nothing. There was just a couple of cans left.
Wow.
Yeah, man, everyone went mad, all because of a burst pipe.
Oh wow.
So that's
And
another
they.
reason to like get your own water sorted out and try and I don't
But
know get drinking water from rainwater.
now you can't drink rainwater. It said in the newspapers and on the TV, on the mainstream news, that you can't drink rainwater anymore. It's got too much chemicals
Yeah,
from all the factories that keep us all alive.
maybe yeah.
You can't drink rainwater. You can't harvest it.
Depends what area you live in, I suppose. If you've got a lot of pollution around it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen some videos in China. God, man, you can't even see where you're going. It might be a
Yeah,
nice sunny day, but because of all the smoke and all the carbon and all the pollution from all those factories, you can't even see where you're going. You don't need sunglasses when it's sunny there.
yeah.
The state
Man,
of the place.
the
Have you
indie
seen that?
media. What's that?
Haven't you seen China with their pollution?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
It's a
suppose
joke, man.
there are like whole villages where people get poisoned and that, but
Yeah,
I suppose they're building like whole new cities where it's just like carbon free and shit now, isn't it? All these brand new cities that they build like in a couple of years, but yeah, for
Well,
years they were just poisoning loads of people.
well, yeah, they didn't care like we care.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
did regulations and like laws and shit.
they just wanted to. It was for money, you know. And now they got all the money they need. They can start thinking about, oh, why we need to car emissions. You know, what shit should we stop selling the West? What do you think we'll see first that will permanently come off our shelves that we need? Essential. What essential will get cut off and we won't see it anymore?
First,
Yeah, first.
don't know. That's a tough one. That is.
Is it wheat?
Nah, that's too much of a staple diet, isn't it? It's in everything. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll just be more and more expensive for beef.
But
And
meat?
like,
No, I wouldn't think meat. No, people will go out and find their own meat if it came to it.
yeah, but then the farmers would get guns and start paying people to look after their animals and shit. I don't know.
If you
That's
wanted
going on.
chickens, you would get chickens, you know.
Yeah.
If you wanted livestock, you'd get it if you really wanted it. But this is the problem, you know. We only human. We don't think like that, you know. We just think of handouts. Where's the next handout, please?
Yeah.
Because the human race, the topic that we're talking about this evening, I realize, Age, we're talking about a race here, so don't be racist.
It's just, I don't know. It's a word, isn't it? I can't put, what could I have put? Humanity, I suppose.
Don't be racist.
No,
We're
don't be
talking
racist.
about a race, the human race. We're talking about ourselves here. Please
Exactly.
don't be racist. And you as well in the chat. Who have we got in the chat here? Mrs. J. Flour, she says. What, as the first ingredient?
They'll get rid of. I don't know.
In the mankind, we got Agent X. We're back.
After
Doing the,
2 shows, we had to go over to mine, didn't we? Because you got locked out for a few weeks. Yeah. So I've shared the screen, or what we're talking about tonight.
Oh, here we go. Oh, we got D in the house. Yeah, we're back from the strike, guys. We got a strike on the channel, so no protest live streams for now. We don't want to completely wreck the channel.
Miss J, that's funny, man. I like that. Locals about he gets me stoned. My mum don't like it. I'm joking.
Mudslinger, good evening. Before we actually start talking, let's all in the chat hit the algorithms by bashing the like button and putting 1 in the chat. Indy is asking for the link. We'll put it out in a bit. But yeah, when we need a third opinion, that's when we're gonna need you to come on. Oh, we got the ones. Let's quickly give everyone a shout. We've got Indy with the one. We've got Agent X with the one. We've got Mrs. J with the one. We've got Rebel Bert 1970 with the one. Hello. We've got Under a Blood Red Sky, the legend with the one. We've got Mudslinger with the one. And we've got AgeCase with the one. Yes. And we've got 16 legends watching. Big up the 16. Now the 15. So the human race age.
Yes.
Oh no, the human
Another
race.
big, deep topic that we could talk for like a week about. Every subject we talk about, we like. I swear, we barely even go into the subjects, but we talk about so much. It's mad. This is another one.
If you look at the picture there, just on the evolution, you know, that's just one talk every stage.
Yeah.
They get more and more intelligent, and the brain gets bigger and better and smarter. And different tools and different ages and errors, you know.
Different environments. Yeah, where do we start? Like human evolution.
So, of human evolution, we've got 6 stages on my notes. It says 6 stages of evolution. We've got this one, if anyone knows. Oh, wait, sound.
Dryopithecus.
The Dryopithecus stage. They're all
Is that
tongue
like?
pictures.
I don't know where to go with it. Is that the belief that we came from monkeys? We sort of the Australopithecus, where it's like almost
That's,
like
them,
a monkey, but a human as well.
Oh wow, okay. So then that's where the Homo starts. After them, the what you said, the Australopithecus.
Should I share that other screen actually?
Sure. After
That's
them, we've
right.
got the Homo erectus, and then the Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, and then the Homo sapiens.
Yeah, I shared the picture if you can see it. Or
Here we go.
it goes right up. What was you talking about? I forget the word now.
Dryopithecus.
Dryopithecus.
Dryopithecus. I can't see that. It must be like in between here or something. Wedged in between Homo erectus or something and Lopithecus.
So Homo sapien is the first one.
Yeah.
And then the one before it is the Neanderthals. And then
Well, that's what we are, Homo sapien, isn't it?
Yeah. So the one before us is the Neanderthals. So
Yeah.
they're that one with the white shorts. and then before that is the erectus.
Yeah.
So then the one before that is the Australopithecus, and then the one before that is the Ramapithecus, and then the one before that is the Dryopithecus.
Oh, so it's in between here then, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's when they say, human. They say we from chimpanzees because human DNA is 98.4% identical to that of a chimpanzee.
And if you go back to the first one, or the first and second one, that's when we were just like DNA, double helix structures.
Wow. Can we
And
zoom
it's
in?
come all the way along. Can I zoom in a bit? Oh. This whole picture is like 4 to 5 billion, 4.5 billion years. So they say. That's how long it took. Unicellular life, that's like single-celled organisms, multicellular, animals with backbones, four-legged, milk-producing animals, that's weird. Primates of mammals, apes, and then humans.
Whose theory is this evolution this way?
It's what's his name? Oh fuck.
Is it Darwin's theory?
Darwin, yeah, that's one.
Right. But there's
Charles
other
Darwin.
theories as well. Does anyone in the chat know of any other theories apart from Darwin's theory? That's the
Natural
main one.
selection.
Yeah,
Natural
that's the main
selection
one
was his
among
idea, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So like the strongest of each sort of organism made it onto the next stage, and then all the others died out.
Bert says it started with Adam and Steve.
Adam and Eve.
I mean Adam and Eve. No, it
So
started with
around
the Big
about here.
Bang. It started with the Big Bang. That's how it really started. How it happened because of the Big Bang. If the Big Bang didn't happen, we wouldn't be here.
And do you reckon if you got, say, like monkeys and you kept breeding them to like stand up and wear human clothes, and you kept breeding them and they kept teaching them and they could talk, like almost talk, do you reckon after a few like 100 years of doing that you could evolve your own monkey into a sort of human? Because someone a while back someone was saying, oh, how come like monkeys haven't evolved then into humans? Or it's like, well, it takes thousands of years, isn't it?
Yeah, millions of years, not thousands, millions. The evolutionary history of primates can be traced back 65 million years. So not thousands of years, but 65 million years age.
65 million. What? So this This here, just this here, is 65 million.
Yeah. From where I said the Dryapolus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 65 million years.
So the rest of this is like, I don't know,
You said 4.4
four. Yeah,
billion.
that's what I mean. There's still like another 4 billion years there before humans.
Wow.
I don't particularly know too much about, the step between the fish and the four-legged organisms when we stepped onto land, or how, or if we did, or if it's bollocks.
I don't know, man. How is a new breed of a new species made?
Like the strongest of its species will continue to like breed, and
Is it because of the air? Things start to
the environment around it as well. That's another factor that plays in. It's probably why near the equator you have like more black people, and in the northern hemisphere they were all, ginger with like really pale skin, because of the environment that they'd, grown in for thousands of millions of years.
Yeah. Well, what's that circle there? Is that a butterfly
Where's that?
on the picture? No.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That's just like I don't know, between a single cell and like a multi-cell organism.
Oh wow.
It's got a mouth, it's got muscles, it's got nerves.
And then the first was the worm. Wow. Little maggots, and then maggots turn to worms, and then worms what? More worms, and then legs.
Fish, and then reptiles. And then somehow we was dinosaurs at one point for a few million years. And then they turned into mammals, or no, shrews. They survived. There was like loads of catastrophes, wasn't it? And volcanoes and things happening. And they say all the dinosaurs were wiped out. There's a number of reasons. But the small mammals survived then, didn't they? And then they grew bigger and bigger and started climbing trees and vitamin C metabolism. That would have been eating like fruits and stuff. Are you still there? Are you gone? I thought you'd gone.
Human evolution. The use of tools has been interpreted as a sign of intelligence. It has been theorized that tool use may have stimulated certain aspects of human evolution, especially the human brain. That's what made us human, the brain, wasn't it? Because without the brain power, we'd still be like animals without not using any tools. like you see now, if you research chimpanzees, they use to a lot of animals use tools. Um, they know how to use them to get what they want. You know, like food. If you leave a stick there, an elephant will take that stick, and where it can't
Use it,
reach, use that stick to
poke it,
grab
or
the piece. Yeah.
apparently when we started eating fish, the omega oils in the fish started. It made our brain grow over like a few thousand years, a few hundred
Hello,
thousand years. Hello?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Oh, okay.
you. Now, apparently, when we started eating fish, like the omega oils in the fish, it made our brains grow a little bit. And then we started like eating meat, and then we started cooking the food. And when we started cooking the food, that's when the language apparently came about. Sitting around the fire, chatting, waffle, like we're doing.
Really, that's the theory. So different kinds of meat um help the brain grow eventually throughout the millennia,
Yeah.
and fish played a role as well with its what? What has it got in it?
Omega
Omega.
oils, like
Yeah.
apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, if we can prove it or not, but we were like vegetarians for like 98% of human evolution. And it was only when we started like eating fish and meat and things like that and gathering in groups of like humans, that's when, yeah, it changed. We started eating meat, we was able to capture animals then because we like started building tools and weapons. Omega 3 and 6 oils, there you go.
The oldest known tool to be discovered are the flakes from West Turkana, Kenya,
Yeah.
which date back to 3.3 million years ago.
So what they're saying, that's the first humans, or
Yeah, first known tools made by humans 3.3 years a million years ago.
see, that's something I don't think is true. Is that we all come from Africa? I think we're like evolved in different areas, or like there's different races, isn't there? I suppose.
Uh, my notes say the next oldest stone tool is from was discovered um, in in Gona, Ethiopia, and are considered the beginning of the Ottoman technology. What's Ottoman technology?
Fuck those. Is that like maths or
Anyone in the chat know Ottoman technology? Search it.
learning to count or something? Fuck those.
Older one.
Older one.
Here we go. It's here. Uh,
Older one.
what is older one technology? Is uh, known choppers. Choppers are stone cores with flakes removed from parts of the surface, creating a sharpened edge that was used for cutting, chopping, and scraping.
Yeah, that's where we evolved from then, I suppose. Stone tools.
Well,
And made the wheel, wasn't it? Homo erectus. Introduced clothing, fire, and constructed the wheel. Maybe. I suppose the wheel was a massive thing. It's a really big thing. As well as like chisels.
precisely when early humans started to use tools is difficult to determine because the Mona primitives tools they used are difficult. Wait, the more difficult it is to decide whether they are natural objects or human artifacts because they're so old, millions of years old. They don't know if they're naturally made, naturally shaped like that, or they're man-made. So we could be looking at just stones that were made sitting there for millions of years, untouched by human hands. And some scientists with papers, one archaeologist with papers, is saying, "Oh, look, this was made by a human being millions and millions of years ago. Look at it." And then, you know what that does? When someone points to something and says, "Does it look like this?" You will say, "Hmm," and your brain will make it look like the way the person said. You know? So when you look at the stones now, the older one stones and technology, you just see some of them are shaped like blades and like spearheads, but there could be just natural forms, you know. That's what it is. They're not absolutely sure. So we could be just looking at stones that were never touched by humans.
Yeah.
But
But
then,
then there could be like there could be civilizations buried under the mud. There's the mud flood theory. That's another one.
That's
There was like
interesting.
floods as
You bring that up.
well. There were civilizations under the sea. Obviously, they say there's
Um,
Atlantis and all that.
a good example for mud flood, a really good example for mud flood is the Easter Island statues.
Yeah.
Do you know about them? The Easter thing.
Yeah, they're massive, aren't they, underneath?
Yeah. They thought it was just the top bit, you know, until they started digging down, and um, the the covered part is bigger than what we can see, you know. So that means the Earth was at that level millions of years ago. Well, not even millions, hundreds of thousands of years ago. But then you can say as well, what about Atlantis? That's under the sea as well, and a lot of buildings in Egypt are under the sea.
Yeah, or under rivers and. We've been here a long time, man. We seem to only know small snippets.
Yeah,
of the past
we know only
that
up
we're
to
told.
around 15 to 20,000 years. That's all we know. That's what the story is, as it's been told, to us. About 20,000 years. That's when. But if we look at these names that I put here, the Dryopithecus, that date back millions of years, not hundreds or thousands of years. 20,000 years, well, 20 million years, or 65 million years.
Time. Fucking, it's long, isn't it?
Yeah. So what about human civilizations? When did that all start? When did the humans start living together in cities? Because that's what you would call a civilization, isn't it? City, a city.
Cities is only. That's a new thing. That's probably like 10,000 years old, maybe. Or maybe a few, maybe more, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50,000. It's not that like long, really, in human, if you think about it. Cities is a new thing.
Yeah, civilization comes from the Latin word, isn't it? Where is it? I had it somewhere around here. Oh, here we go. The word civilization relates to the Latin word civilis or city, which is why the most basic definition of the word civilization is a society made up of cities. That's the definition. But when you said 20,000 years ago, and what historical site have they found that's 20,000 years old?
Like, like Egypt, Mesopotamia.
No, they're saying with
Places like that.
the pyramids are only 4,000 to 5,000 years old. You're talking about 20,000 years.
Or Babylonia, maybe. That's.
No, but is there any historical sites that you know of that you can maybe bring up?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Oh.
I'd have to like look into that, but.
So since the invention of writing, human history has been studied through the primary and secondary spell here. I can't even read my own writing.
Yeah, that's the point. Some
The
two
source,
boomers have said the Sphinx may be older as well. So I've
yeah.
seen things about that. They renovated the Sphinx in the Egyptian era, so it could be a lot older.
The source documents. What are source documents, Age? Are internal documents that act as tangible evidence of a business still. Wow. So human civilization. So cities started to develop, which meant that agricultural culture started, revolutionized.
Who did it? Who pushed that? The Romans, or before the
Um,
Romans? Was it?
the Neolithics. They all started it, innit? The Neolithic
Yeah.
era saw the agricultural revolution begin in the fertile river valleys of the nearest um, of the valleys around 10,000 BCE. So that's 10,000 years ago. Two Boomer says goes
Göbekli Tepe. Yeah, I've heard of that place. It's in Turkey, isn't it?
is 12,000 years old, but now they're saying it's like 18,000 years old.
Wow.
So 6,000 years more.
And if you think about it, it's not even that much, really, in human history, evolution. If we've been around for millions of years, like 18,000 years is nothing. Because, like, I don't know, everything's subject to entropy, doesn't it? It eventually gets washed away, built over, breaks down, washed away, built over.
I don't understand how they can find out where we started from the human race, but they can't find out how the pyramids were built.
Oh yeah, I think they do. They know how the pyramids are built. It's just there's different opposing ideas on it. There's 2 or 3 ideas. Like,
What's the idea? Tell me 2 of them, and I'll believe one of them.
what's that?
Tell me 2 of them, and I'll believe one of them.
2 what?
Theories.
About what?
Drop this hand.
Should we drop the link as well? Yeah. See who's coming in.
Yeah. I dropped the stand, but I said everything just fell.
Jericho built about 8,000 BCE. Wow.
How old? Oh no, the Great Walls of China, they're only a few thousand years old, isn't it? 3,000, 4,000, something like that. A lot of historical sites in the world, man. What's the oldest building in the world that humans have built civilizations.
God
That's
knows.
still
Is
standing.
it not the
The
pyramids
Mayans. The Mayans.
or the Mayans? I wouldn't know what the oldest building is. Have a look. Have a look.
Culture-wise, is it culture? No, religion-wise. Is it race-wise? Maybe race. Can you call Hinduism a race? No, it's more a culture, right?
That's a religion.
It's a religion. Because in the Bronze Age, Hinduism developed on the Indian subcontinent, while the Axialist Age witnessed the appearance of religions such as Buddhism, Jainism, Judaism, is it Taoism, and Zoroastrianism. What is that? I've never heard of that. Zoroastrianism. That's another probably a religion. But that's when culture or religions first started. Then
Beliefs.
beliefs, yeah.
Like one set of people would say one thing and other people would believe another thing. Or have you heard of the stoned ape theory? Apparently, we started eating mushrooms.
Oh, psychedelics.
Yeah, psychedelics, and
Oh,
apparently that's where self-awareness came from. We was like aware of ourselves by then.
YouTube, we can't really speak about that. You know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I was just touching on it.
We've got a guest at the back.
Sweet.
You gotta have your camera on. Is it okay? Put your hands up if it's fine. Okay. That's it. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna add Indy on now. Hello, Indy.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello, Indy. I think we're having mic trouble there. No sound. Sound check. No, we can't hear you. Can you hear him, Age?
Right.
Oh. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Right. So I see that thing on your like advertisement for your life about the LGBTQ fucking alphabet squad or whatever you want to call them, yeah?
We was coming to that, yeah.
Well, I want to know what your two boys, right? You used to, you know, I know you for quite a while. What is your take about the fact that they're going around London, taking down all the Union Jack flags and sticking up all the LGBT things? Don't you think that makes us look like a fucking bunch of woke idiots?
Did you know the European Union?
They probably do it every year, man.
No, they don't do it every year. This is the thing. This is the first time they've ever done it in London since I've been here.
But what about thing though? LGBT History Month. When did that all start?
Oh, I think they're just taking the piss out of Black History Month, to be quite honest. You know, there's people that have died for this country, right? They get dedicated one fucking day, and then you get a bunch of jumped up woke idiots, and they get a fucking month of it. It makes me sick. Sorry to say, boys.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You know, what exactly have they ever done for the country? Oh, they did it last year. There you go. Cheers, Boomer. Yeah, I don't agree with it. They're removing something that is like, you know, it's the national flag and replacing it with something that's so fucking woke. Well, sorry, a Mason's apron, as I call them. Yeah, that's what they're replacing it with. That's not on, mate. There's people that
But
gave
then,
their lives to fight for that flag, so it could be what it is today. The greatest one out of Great Britain, I think, to be quite honest.
What so what do you actually think about it? It's no good, right?
No, it's not a case of it's no good. Why does it have to be in everybody's face?
yeah, I think that's
Why
what a
can't they
lot of
just keep
people
it you know,
agree. I agree with that.
why can't they just keep it under wraps, their own little collective? Do you know what I mean? And people that want to follow the things they're doing. It doesn't have to be in my face and your face 24 fucking 7,
Yeah.
does it?
Yeah.
This is what I think of the whole scenario. No, this. That's what I think of the whole fucking scenario.
Yeah, it's just what's
Like
it
you go in,
called?
yeah,
It's
you
like
go,
attention seeking, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
in a way,
that's
I
probably what it
find
is.
it.
Listen, you go into
The whole
places
thing.
like Camden and they've got the fucking crossings done in LBGT. There's like my best friend, she's a lesbian, right? I've got nothing against gay people whatsoever. She hates the fact that they're ramming it down everybody's fucking throats as well. And she's sitting there, she's going, well, you know, this giving people like me a bad name, you know. And I'm like, well, yeah. And she, you know, at the end of the day, she's sick of it all.
It's just like arming, you know, like setting up people for arguments in future dates.
Yeah, exactly
Like
that.
people will start targeting these people, even though they're just.
Oh, but they've already
like,
started targeting at us. If we're
oh
white,
yeah,
single, male, and straight, we're either homophobic, racist, or fucking against everything.
yeah, that's bollocks as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's full of landmines, isn't it, everywhere?
Yeah, toxicity everywhere.
Yeah, my honest opinion about it. Yeah, what they're doing, I think it's a bit too much. With the children, it should be plus 18. You know, once you're 18, you're a man. You do what you want to do. You know, you want to become a woman, become a woman.
It makes me laugh though. It makes me laugh, right? Because they're saying, "Oh yeah, it's just like pantomime." Yeah, pantomime with blokes with their schlongs hanging out. I don't think so, mate. Get back into your fucking closet. Go on.
Like if it's over 18, it's fine. You know, under 18, not so much. You know, maybe 1 or 2 lessons, but not lessons like what they do in their little shows. You know, it shouldn't be like that.
Everything's weaponized and everything's divided onto the left and right.
Yeah. It's like you try and tell someone when I used to go to the protests, right? People used to come and go, "Oh yeah, you left or you're right." I say, "No, mate, I don't hang on the fucking fence like you guys do. I'm down the middle, so I'm walking through yous lot." And he's go, "So you're not left or right?" I goes, "No, I'm down the middle. I'm even." I goes, "I don't follow yous and I don't follow yous." I goes, "Because you talk shit, but so do they. So I don't follow any of yous. I film the idiots." That's what I used to tell him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're calling me an idiot?"
That's a good way.
You sort of like give my channel comedy. People watch it and they think, "What the fuck?" You know, at the end of the day, you could walk through London, right? This is no word of a lie. You could get a week's worth of footage in one day. Just certain places that you could go, like, oh, let me think, Trafalgar, Leicester, hang around outside, let me think, Charing Cross Police Station. You could get shitloads of footage, B-roll footage and everything in one day. I've done it.
Yeah, Scandal, he's right. They're pushing it on the kids way too much.
Not a case of
way too much.
It's not a case of way too much. It's a case of they shouldn't be pushing it on them at all. They should let them make up their own minds about gender, sexuality. You know, if they want to become gay when they're older, that's down to them. But you let them know what the fuck goes on between, you know, in them sort of areas of things that go on. And you sort of like do the thing that a parent's meant to do, give them guidance.
No, you should only be teaching each other about being a boy or a girl when you're not a boy or you're not a girl. When you're 18 plus, you know, before that you can just talk about it, but to make a decision, you have to be plus 18.
Well, yeah, you say that. I see a video the other day, right? I can't remember whether or not it's on social media or on YouTube or whatever, but there was like a child and he was going about being gay. Now, He goes, "Oh, I've been gay since I was 10." And I sort of looked at him and said, "Mate," I sort of looked at the screen and thought, "Mate, you can't be much over 10 now." He's like, "I'm 12 now, blah, blah, blah. And I like boys." And I'm sitting there feeling fucking sick to the stomach. Because it's what's been plastered all over the mainstream media that's done that.
Yeah, I've read. I've got the Telegram group as well. Some people post some stuff in there. It's not as censored as it is on YouTube.
YouTube make idiots anyway.
Yeah. God. Oh, there's a lot on there. It's hard to say on YouTube now. Thinking about the censorship.
Yeah, I've got loads of things I could say, but
I heard you
I don't know. I don't want to say it.
I heard you boys saying that you've got a strike on the channel. What was it for?
Medical misinformation. Yeah.
And they're still going on about that shit after all the lies that they've told and censored everybody that was telling the truth. That makes me fucking sick. That does. Everything's come out now. Everything's been out in the papers. Everything's, you know, at the end of the day, and they still can't pull their fingers out of their asses and see that they've had the wall pulled over their eyes for 4 years.
Until,
still censoring everyone.
Yep, still censoring everyone. So
until YouTube change their rules, that's how it's going to be.
Yeah. Bit annoying.
That's it. We have to just get along with it.
yep, just have to censor ourselves in it a little bit.
Yeah.
So what's this about? I hear you've been barred from AgeCase's house because you get him to. Oh yeah.
It's his mum.
Oh,
no, they're just joking. Because I go to bed like 11 because I have to get up at 6 for work.
you're fucking lucky.
And Token always takes the piss out. Oh, your mum say you got to go to bed? That's where it came from. But, yeah, it's just a little joke. I don't go to bed at 11 every night, but most nights.
Oh,
This is the good
It's
thing
heat
about
as well.
working night
just
shifts.
as you're getting up, I'm going to bed, mate.
Fuck.
I've been sat up all night playing Call of Duty, killing every fucker in America. Why not?
While you're
I used to
asleep,
do that
I'll be
years
working.
ago. Like
Hey,
I'd
if I
be up
can't
all
sleep,
night and I'd sleep all day.
Yeah, I'll just be pacing the floors, mate. So I'll just sit in there and kill everybody. If Tyrant finds us still on, I grab hold of him and we go and do everybody.
Yeah, what Two Boomers is saying. Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Two Boomers is a wealth of knowledge. When he puts stuff in, the chat.
They've been trying it since the 70s and 80s. I think I pulled something up the other day. There was like a few MPs they set up paedophile information exchange, where they were just like basically promoting pro paedophilia and that was in the 70s and 80s.
There's the organization, isn't it?
Yeah,
Man Loves Boys.
It's crazy.
Association that was made in the 80s or something, and it's still going now. And they want to repeal and take down pedophilic laws.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Yeah, fucked. This is what's happening, guys. And what are you, the human race, doing? Fuck all about it.
Well, it's so compartmentalized and hard to change anything.
Exactly.
And if you even try, you'll become a terrorist of the state.
Yep, you'll become a terrorist, and they will hunt you down and silence you.
Yeah, and then throw the key away, and you don't even get your word across.
Mate, they won't even make a key. They'll make sure it's one of them doors that when you slam it stays shut, mate.
Oh, just a disclaimer,
like Julian Assange, basically.
Hold on, Age. Just a disclaimer, everyone. We're all nuts on the panel. We don't know what we're talking about.
Them two might be, but I'm totally fucking sane.
Only mental crazy people join the panel that don't know what they're talking about. So don't worry, as a disclaimer.
What you trying to say?
Don't believe anything we say, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Don't believe the hype.
Recording reality in the house. Big up.
I've got a question for your local.
Hello.
When's the next big protest?
The next protest I can live stream is in at 58 days' time.
Right, cool. Hit me up on that day. I'm being serious. I'm coming with you.
Yeah, I can't go to a protest until my strike is over.
Yeah. Who says you need to be a live stream? You can wear my mic and you can be my commentary person.
No, I can live stream. I've been given permission from Odyssey to live stream. But I've only got one follower on Odyssey.
Oh well,
There's one for you. 24th of June, Julian Assange.
Yeah, cool. Parliament Square. All right, cool.
No, my strike is over in August.
Yeah, I've been sitting here debating whether or not to get back on it.
I mean, there should be a mass fucking movement. Like, where is it?
Yeah, fucking
it's crazy. Everyone's too distracted by the weather and
all distractions
and
in
the
world.
LGBT and Philip Schofield and so all these little distractions. That's why
makes me laugh, right?
I haven't really got much of an opinion on the LGBT thing because it's just I'm not gay, so I don't feel the need to like talk about it all the time.
Right.
You know, I'm happy for what everyone else wants to do. That's fine, but
yeah, exactly. If you want to identify as a fucking tractor, you go for it, mate. If it makes you happy, but then you psychiatrist later on in life because you're gonna be fucked up in the head.
Yeah. Everyone should have the right to do what they want, but not force their opinions on everyone.
Exactly. That's not the way it should be, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, me, I respect everybody's opinion until they start talking crap and then I'll tell them you're talking shite, mate. Shut up.
Yeah.
It's just the way I am. Always the same.
Hello, recording reality or Reese.
Hello.
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 How you doing, man? You right?
No, I've got a chest infection.
Oh no.
Blame that.
Don't worry, it's not like an online virus. I can't give it to you over live stream. So
watch your boys going to give it a Trojan.
I just coughed down phone at you.
Hopefully you're wearing a mask and not spreading the disease.
Hopefully you're triple mask.
No, I took the day off of work so I didn't infect my colleagues.
Good. Are you wearing a mask at home so you don't affect everyone around you?
Yeah.
Well, I live on my own local. I mean, I don't think the cat can catch cold.
Right, you better mask the cat up then.
Yeah. Now, I probably caught it off the cat if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. Make sure you put safety first.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, stay at home for 3 weeks. Don't call anybody. Don't go outside, and especially don't have any parties.
All right, yeah, I'll bear that in mind. No, I'm going back to work on. Well, it's my day off tomorrow, so I'll be back at work on Thursday. But yeah, just about to get antibiotics because I've got tracheitis with it, which is inflammation of my windpipe.
Oh, loads of mucus then.
Yeah.
So,
what we're talking about tonight?
The human race.
Oh, we're all fucked, mate. I don't think that we follow the technical description of human beings anymore. I think that I don't think we should be classified as human beings, and it's certainly not Homo sapiens anymore.
That's a really good concept to think about, isn't it? We're not Homo sapiens anymore.
No, we're not.
Something else. We're hybrid something else now.
Yeah,
we've reached the next. We're Homo. I would say Homo technologicus.
Yeah,
exactly
right.
We are a technologically enhanced race.
Yeah, that's true. Everything around us.
Homo technologist.
Technologicus.
Yeah, technologicus. Yeah.
Like
Homo technologicus. Technology
the house
using
I'm
man.
sitting in, everything is around us is technology.
Homo technologist.
And the thing is, what defines us as that, as opposed to Homo sapiens, yeah? When we were Homo sapiens, it was possible for us to live in our environment with the primary adaptations that nature had given us and survive perfectly well in that environment. Today, without our technology, we could not do that.
Right.
So that's what makes us a definitive species difference from Homo sapiens, in my opinion.
And then the next species is what? Transhumanism?
Well,
That's it.
I think
Or is
that
that
if
a
you follow
branching off?
I think that if you follow the path of Homo technologicus, I think that the main forking or branching of our evolutionary tree will come when we actually land on Mars, because whether it's through a process of natural evolution or a process of genetic engineering, the human genome will have to change if humans are going to live for, permanently on Mars. There will have to be some form of adaptation to enable that to happen. Have I just coined a term there that's going to end up being the next term for the human race? Homo technologicus.
Yeah, man, that should be. That's fucking wicked.
I think that we've become dependent upon our technology, haven't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely, and we would die without it. So
None
in
of
order
us
to
sleep in the grass, do we? Or in the
no,
tree?
not at all. Not at all. And like I say, if you put your average modern human into the environment that Homo sapiens traditionally lived in, bear in mind, when I say Homo sapiens, I'm talking about the maybe 500,000 years that we lived in our present form before we developed agriculture. So the 500,000 years that we spent as hunter-gatherer was us in our most naturalistic form. And if you picked us up and just dropped a modern human off in that time, 500,000 years ago, he'd be dead within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even more quicker, because they won't be able to find water or.
Exactly. Now, if you dropped a child from the our species now and put them in that environment, they'd do fine.
Live with the wolves or whatever.
No. I mean, if you were to take a child from a family today, it's just been born in the hospital, yeah. You take that child and you give it to a mother of, a surrogate mother 500,000 years ago, and that surrogate mother would be able to raise that child, and that child would do fine in that environment.
Yeah.
But with the if you were to take someone like me or you and put us back then, we'd be fucked. But yeah, what do I know? We're all fucking crazy.
That's it. We are.
Well, look at this as well. Are you familiar with the concept of vestigial organs?
No.
Most human beings have a vestigial organ in their body.
Oh, like is that like a
It's a throwback. It's an organ that because of our diet in our earlier iterations of human species, we required an addition to our intestinal system in order to process certain types of fibers. Now, because we no longer eat those types of fibers, that organ has shrunk and is now a vestigial organ that we maintain, but we have no purpose for. Do you know what that organ is?
No.
And I don't have one. I've had mine removed.
Oh, appendix.
Your appendix, exactly. That's an example of a vestigial organ that we evolved to require that organ. It was part of the necessary makeup of our bodies, but because our diets have changed as we've developed, we no longer need that organ. So it's shrunk and it's got to the point where it's now useless, so you can live a perfectly adequate and happy life without one. I have no appendix. It nearly killed me when it exploded. But yeah, it's I don't suffer any ill health effects for not having one.
Like, if I share this picture, local, if I could. Yeah, look, if you see right at the top of this, we were talking about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But you have in the green bits, like you have gain of function and then you have loss of function. So going to what you were saying about the appendix, that here we lost scales, we lost gills, we lost the pineal gland, we lost our tails, all these little things we've lost sort of through human evolution.
If they're not
And we've gained
necessary
things.
for survival, then they become a essentially a resource drain that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So over time, it it's sort of phased out.
Where is it? Pineal gland. Your third eye.
The third eye.
Claws become nails. We got rid of
Deborah
tails.
Hart said the third eye that no one uses. Yeah. I've used it, but it's hard to explain.
You have to take hallucinogens in order to open your third eye, unfortunately.
Not necessarily.
You don't think?
Yeah. It's a state of mind.
All right. So I'm just looking at that thing that you have on the screen, and prior to our primate-like ancestors, we had the ability to generate our own vitamin C, and we lost that ability. So following that point, we had to get it from his diet.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that earlier. That's bad, isn't it?
Cats metabolize their own vitamin C.
How?
I'm really not sure, but they do.
That's
because
bad.
you don't give cats vitamin supplements, do you?
No. And they don't have throat.
No, they don't. They're exclusively carnivorous, are cats. A cat in the wild won't eat anything apart from meat. Maybe the occasional mouthful of grass if it needs to purge its stomach or its bowels. You know what I mean? If it's got tummy ache, it might eat some grass.
Yeah.
But that's just so they can puke it up. You don't need LSD or mushrooms, just meditation and healthy living. You can open your third eye.
No, the healthy eating is good, yes.
I find a catheter really helps to open your third eye.
That when you're focusing better, yeah, healthy eating contributes. So
No, of course it does. I find a catheter's the best thing to open your third eye with, though.
what?
A catheter.
Oh, okay. Ready?
Never mind. It was a rude joke, local. It's not funny if I have to explain it.
Yeah.
I'll share this one then. I'll share this screen, the main screen. what we've been talking about. Yeah, man.
Deborah, I was awake since 9/11.
Yeah, me too, I reckon.
Yeah.
Around about.
9/11 was the event that woke me up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say precisely 9/11. It was what came after 9/11.
Yeah, afterwards.
Obviously, as soon when 9/11 happened, I took it at face value that what we were being told were the truth, just like everyone else did.
All the like stuff that came out afterwards, like on the internet and
Well, mainly the thing about Dr. David Kelly that cemented it in my mind.
yeah,
Because that was a guy in the position to know, with the moral fortitude to tell the truth, and he was eliminated because of it, and that just told me everything I needed to know. So we've covered evolution. Did you cover evolution?
Yeah, we kind of got almost down to LGB and future of humans, stuff like that.
What do you know what LGBTIA plus means, Reese?
Yeah.
What? Go on.
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersexual, and asexual.
You missed out queer or questioning.
Well, I said queer instead of questioning.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's the plus?
do you know, for the 701 different identities that people have? Because apparently these days, all you have to do is say that you identify as something, and everybody else has to take you at face value for that.
Yeah.
So I identify as the tax man. You motherfuckers better pay me. I am the tax man. You pay the tax man.
Let's make it full screen first.
That's what the T stands for in my LGBTQ. It stands for taxman. LGBTQ stands for taxman. LGBTQ stands for taxman. Echo.
Oh yeah, the person that I just added, you're echoing.
Am I still echoing?
No,
you're fine now. Hello, Danny.
Good
Hi.
evening.
How you doing?
Okay. How are you?
Not bad. Just talking about human race,
Uh-huh.
a subject that you're keen familiar with.
Subject what?
That you're familiar with.
Am I?
Are
Yeah.
you a member of the human race? Do you identify as a human?
No.
I find that funny that nobody does identify as a human. Everybody identifies as something else. Yeah, they identify as either a lesbian or a gay, or they identify as an Englishman or an American. Nobody identifies as a human.
I identify as a mango.
Well, that sounds a bit fucking fruity to me, that, pal.
Yeah, I'm a very, very delicious one of those Indian mangoes. That's what I am.
And just deep in your heart, you are a stone.
Correct.
Sounds about right, Danny.
Mm.
So, what do you think the future of the human race? Are we even humans anymore?
I don't know. What makes a human human?
I think that it's down to a number of different things, isn't it? It's down to your genetics, obviously. But I think that we transcended the Homo sapiens stage of our evolution. I think that we're now, I coined this term earlier, Homo technologicus.
Right.
We're technologically augmented species.
Mm.
And I think that if you were to take a modern day human being, an adult human being, and transplant them to the time when anatomically accurate Homo sapiens, about 500,000 years ago, when they evolved into what we presently know as Homo sapiens, if you were to transplant that person back into that time period, they'd die within like 3 weeks.
Right.
Because we lack any of the skills or the adaptation to survive, because we've outsourced our survivability to corporations, to the supply chains of society.
Mm-hmm.
I think for that reason, we no longer. I mean, look, the phone that you've got in your hand can access the entire catalogue of human knowledge in a second, in an instant, and you can communicate with people on the other side of the world instantly for free. And never in the history of humanity have we ever had that sort of ability.
Mm.
I think it sets us apart from our ancestors. I think this is the starting point of the event that locals been looking forward to for so long, which is the transhumanism phase of humanity,
Right.
where and
I'm
I think that
reading a book at the moment. I'm reading this book just started called Remaking Eden. How genetic engineering and cloning will transform the American family, and it's set in different years. And one of the years is 2350, like 300 odd years, 325 years time.
Mm-hmm.
And by then they'll, according to this prediction, I mean, it's who knows.
Spaceships. Yes.
By then they'll be like augmented humans who have got incredible abilities. And then there'll be the natural humans that will be just a different species. They'll just be used for menial tasks.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that we are not that far away from designer babies.
Correct.
And once you start introducing designer babies, it becomes almost like a genetic arms race.
Correct.
Because if your neighbour's got a genetically modified baby, in order for your baby to be able to compete in the workplace, in society, you're going to have no choice but to have your baby genetically modified too.
Yeah. Correct.
And at what point does it become irresponsible, a la Gattaca? Have you ever seen that movie, Gattaca?
Yes. Yeah. I need to watch it again, though.
At what point does it become irresponsible to have a non-genetically modified child?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everybody else,
I think it's irresponsible to have one now, as you know.
Film.
Because it's basically
Gattaca.
David Pierce, who is a transhumanist. He calls like what we're doing at the moment genetic crapshoot.
Yeah.
It's a terrible game.
Well, in some respects, Danny, there's because of the size of our population, it's almost an insurance policy, because it's difficult for in a smaller population. It'd be easy, for example, for a genetic abnormality to run riot. I mean, all you've got to do is look at the Habsburgs, the European royal family that engaged in inbreeding for as long as they did, and essentially they killed their genetic line because the the last people on that genetic line were infertile because of all these years of genetic inbreeding. And with a smaller population, obviously, you risk that being the case. But with the amount of genetic variance we have in our species, yes, it is a crapshoot, but because there's so many individuals involved in it, generally the trend is that human beings improve, or at least that would be the hope. But then there's a lot of environmental factors to take into consideration that we never had to understand before, because, you know, obviously the industrialization of the world has caused exposure to chemicals and compounds that human beings were never exposed to before.
Right.
So that, you know, we've obviously had nuclear testing and the fallout from that is obviously going to have some effect over long term in terms of people's genetics, because obviously that's
aborigines it's called, isn't it? The aborigines.
I'm not familiar with that term.
Where like you keep, you know, one generation will produce or will have, like, I don't know, they'll get poisoned in their life and then they'll produce children, and then that child will, you know, it'll just keep passing on, and I don't know.
Yeah. There's
what you were saying.
There is evidence that the parents' environment can alter the genetics of the child. And that's not just whether or not a mother drinks or smokes during pregnancy. That is like when the parent was growing up, if they lived in an environment where they had scarcity, and you know, there were stresses placed on that child's on the parent's body when they were a child as a result of scarcity, can then affect the genetics of the children that they have. So you find there's actually, you know, statistical evidence that sort of backs up the fact that people whose parents suffered nutritional hardship in their youth, the subsequent generation normally suffered from obesity because their offspring's metabolism worked at a rate at which it didn't consume fat as quickly as other people, because that the parents had undergone times of scarcity, and retaining those fat reserves were obviously essential to survival. Do you know what I mean? So a child whose parents suffered nutritional difficulties when they were growing up is more likely to suffer from obesity as a compensation for the difficulties that their parents experienced. It's kind of weird how that works, but there is actually statistical evidence that backs it up. Was that a tumbleweed blowing past?
No, it's just gone quiet.
Yeah. I do have a habit of just killing a conversation dead sometimes.
So, Mr. Danny Fan, why do you want to go in the wrong direction and say, that's it, no more?
What's that?
Why do you keep saying no more? That's it. Let's stop. I think it's a better way that it's going. The transhumanism. That sounds a better way than extinction.
Why?
It sounds better. That's why.
Yeah, but you see, I'm not interested in people's opinions, including my own. It's who cares whether transhumanism sounds better or this sounds better? Who cares? What I think is worth thinking about is, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? What are the people we around going to do? It's irrelevant what goes on in the world, transhumanism, not transhumanism. You and I can do nothing about transhumanism at all, right?
Hopefully, I can. Hopefully.
No.
You
He's
might not.
queuing up for the chip, Danny. He's already put his name down.
What, for the snip?
For the chip in his brain. He wants Elon Musk's Neuralink in his noggin.
Yeah, but that's still not doing anything about. You're not Elon Musk, so you're not doing anything about Neuralink. You may be, you could say, well, yes, you can volunteer for Neuralink, but that's still not doing anything about it. That's just responding. You're not going to make any difference in the world whether you go for Neuralink or not. But what you do have, well, kind of at least the illusion of control over is your dick, right? If we're talking to men only here, right? And the question is, are you going to use your dick to create more problems?
No, the better way.
Why would you do that? Forget transhumanism. Why would you do that?
No, the better way to put it with your penis is, why waste our opportunity to breed? Why waste the opportunity?
What? Waste an opportunity to breed? What are you talking about?
This is where I think you're onto a losing argument, Danny, because let's be completely honest. People like to fuck.
I know.
They do. It's one of the greatest things as a human being that you can experience and engage in.
Yeah, I know. It's a terrible thing.
It's not a terrible thing.
It's a terrible thing. It's a horrific thing.
So having sex is horrific?
Yeah, no.
I'm going to say, I feel sorry for your missus then, mate.
No, don't feel sorry for my missus, because that doesn't mean I don't do it. But I'm saying that it's a horrific, the horror of sex is it's coupled with reproduction, which is sick. It's so sick that the thing that you like, that feels so good, is coupled with something that creates so many problems and so much suffering. It's terrible that is coupled together. And
let me ask you a question,
one second,
Danny.
And 1 second, and hopefully, right, it doesn't really matter, because the question is, like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? But it's just as a fantasy. And I'm not the first person to say this. In the next however many years, they will decouple it completely. They will completely decouple sex from reproduction, which is fantastic. And then people can have as much sex as they want, just like gay people can, right? And not bring people into existence without thinking about it very, very, very carefully.
The question I wanted to ask you, Danny, you've got kids, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. No, I haven't got kids. I brought 3 human beings into existence. That's what I did.
All right. So the human beings that you brought into existence, did they bring any joy into your life?
Yes.
Then that, in my opinion, the joy that they brought into your life, does that not outweigh the suffering of having children?
No, it doesn't justify doing it. It's still the most narcissistic possible thing you can do. I mean, it's basically like bringing people into my friend sent me an email. Let me read it to you. Hold on.
An open prison.
Yeah, no, he was worse than that.
It's like a woman who's got a life sentence in prison, and she has a baby, maybe, and they raise it in prison.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
maybe.
It is like that. Yeah. Hold on. Just want to read you what it says, because it's quite cute. I can't find it now.
I mean, it'd be all good and well, Danny, if it weren't for that pesky biological imperative, wouldn't it?
Well, it's not. That's what's so nasty about it. It's so wicked. It really is. It's just pure wickedness.
Well, I mean, who could have possibly designed such a system that, you know, the recreational park is situated right next to the sewage plant.
I know, you're bloody right. Reproduction is at root, when fully considered, nothing but parental narcissistic supply, pure ego aggrandizement, naught to do with a kid at all. Imagine a gory fair-round ride where the punters get beheaded, raped, burnt, beaten, robbed, worked to death, starved to death, shot, infected with nasty diseases, etc., etc., and the people on the ride bring children on. They would be considered sadistic criminals.
So my question would be this: how is that different from any other species that has its existence on this planet?
It isn't.
So do you advocate all the other species going extinct as well? Should they stop breeding?
Yes. Either going extinct or they, you know, you can use your imagination.
Kill them all up.
David Pearce has got a whole thing about how how with using technology you can get rid of all suffering, abolish all suffering, or make it very, very, very minimal, and change the animals so that they don't eat each other and all this sort of crazy shit, right?
Oh yeah, we could have gay rabbits.
The thing is, hold on a second. The thing is that it doesn't really matter what I or you believe about whether animals should, in inverted commas, go extinct. It's ridiculous. What do you mean should go extinct? All I'm saying is that
any moral imperative is
that they are being dragged into a sentient body that can experience pain and suffering, and being used by DNA, this devilish code, right, is using all of our bodies for itself to carry on and on and on. Yes, and humans, are the only beings that are able to actually see it and overcome their own DNA.
Do you hate your own DNA, Danny?
That's a good question. Do I hate it?
Well, you said this devilish DNA.
Yeah, it's a devil. It's an absolutely terrible, terrible devil. And I guess at the moment, actually, funnily enough, I'm kind of taking some time out of my activism, or trying to, and working on like a kind of different way of relating to that devil within. Yeah, because I don't know if I would say I hate it. I kind of believe that it's like I was just thinking today about this, that one can, it depends how you look at it all, right? You can look at it in various different ways, and one of the ways you can look at it is it's like a bit like a game, where my DNA, right, which is basically running so much of my life, part of it, for example, is that there's like the lizard part of my brain, that the DNA is definitely part of that as well, right? And the lizard part of my brain is engaging in fight, flight, mating everything that it can, wants to mate everything that it sees in sight to spread its seed. And there's one other thing, I can't remember one other thing that it does, right? And do I hate that part of myself? Well, put it this way. If it was a human, if a human was doing it, I would kind of pretty much hate it. Yeah. If a human was saying to me what my DNA is doing to me and saying to me, right, then I'd be really suspicious of that human, right? The problem is that with one's DNA is also the part of yourself, that part of myself is also kind of keeping me alive, right?
Well, so, your entire survival depends upon.
It's not so much about hating it, but it's more about leashing it, putting it on a leash, and recognizing that it's absolutely awful. It's terrible, and and it's telling me to, my DNA, is basically been programmed to get me to try and, you know, impregnate as many women as possible, which is why I want to, you know, why as a man, so many of us want to sleep with as many women as possible, right? Which is a terrible thing because it gets you into terrible trouble.
Well, it only gets you into terrible trouble because our society in its current form promotes monogamy. If it wasn't the sociological norm to have monogamous relationships, then the human impulse to procreate with multiple different partners wouldn't be an issue, would it?
Well,
that's sociological,
yeah,
is that?
Yeah, but no, but it's not. It's all driven by DNA as well, because a woman wants to have a monogamous relationship so that she can look after the children.
That's not necessarily true, because there's actually been correlations found that within certain stages of a female's menstrual cycle, she'll be attracted to one particular body type and personality type, and then at other times during the menstrual cycle, she'll be attracted to other different males. Yeah. Now, in her most fertile moments, she's attracted to your typical alpha male type, yeah, the strong warrior style protector type, yeah. But then in the other times during a menstrual cycle, what she finds attractive is the nurturing, caring beta type, someone that's going to look after her and be there for her when her children are growing up. So when it comes to women's biological impulses, you know, their preferences of what they're looking for in terms of a mate changes.
Well, it may, but you know what? I'm so not interested in that, and I'll tell you why. Because what I'm talking about is something very, very simple. It's that I have impulses to want to sleep with as many women as I can, right? That's what my, you know, that's what my lizard brain wants me to do. And the problem with that is, and the twistedness of that is, that will lead me to you know, that will lead me to raise my chances of creating new life, and that the fact that this pleasure is mixed in and this desire is mixed in with this creating new life is a terrible, terrible thing. And if it was created by a conscious, as far as I'm concerned, if sex was created by a consciousness that could see the, you know, that could see the repercussions of it being set up in that way, yeah, and went ahead and created that on purpose, yeah, that is to me, that is the worst evil of all of ever. It's a terrible, terrible thing. If some consciousness consciously created this ultimate scam, because it is a scam, it's a trick, it's an evolutionary trick, which is a terrible, terrible thing.
I don't think I agree with you. I don't. I mean, and let's be completely honest as well, Danny. Morality is a human construct. Nature in and of itself knows no right, no wrong,
correct,
no good, no evil.
That's what's vile about it. That's what's so vile about DNA. So,
yeah, but
maybe I do hate DNA. I think DNA is terrible. DNA is such a terrible thing.
But that's a morality judgment
that runs your life in the background, right? And everything about your life, right? Everything about our lives, if you trace it back, your DNA is just trying to get you to reproduce. All of the stuff that you do around it, it's all orchestrated,
irrelevant
in the background. Yeah. Religions are like they are because DNA allows them to be. All of that stuff is good for DNA, because all DNA wants to do is to make sure it carries on and on and on and on and on for no good reason, using
like
all
a virus,
the biological machines along the way. So it doesn't care if it, there are some animals that have terrible lives, absolutely terrible lives, right? It doesn't care. It just gets them to have sex and mate, and then and they might have terrible lives. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And I don't know how you can, you can say like, you start going on about morality and nature not being moral. Yeah, so exactly. Nature's got no heart. Nature's got no soul. Nature doesn't care.
But it wasn't
care if two people in a war zone have unprotected sex and create a poor child living in a fucking war zone. Nature doesn't care if two people who are sociopaths have a child, like Rishi Sunak's parents. For all I know, two sociopaths had a child who's a sociopath. Nature doesn't care. As long as they have a child, nature doesn't care.
So, in order for you to be able to appreciate the vileness of DNA and the immorality of nature, you have that very nature to thank for being able to make a moral judgment in the first place.
Rubbish. I'm not thanking that at all. Why should I thank that? Why should
because
it
was
so
because it's
so what if I can do that? So what? I'm still
because it's generational successions of development of DNA that have given you that ability to do that.
So what? I'm still a poo machine. I'm still subject to 188 cognitive biases. I'm still vulnerable to thousands of different mental and physical health conditions. It's ridiculous. Why should I be thankful to nature? Ugh. I have nothing but scorn for nature.
Danny, honestly, mate, you're starting to sound like you're full of self-loathing.
Nature is full of apathy towards all the suffering of all sentient life. Nature doesn't give a fuck.
No, it doesn't.
No, nasty.
But why would you try and attribute morality to nature? You can't attribute morality to nature. That's the whole point of Moby Dick, mate.
What do you mean you can't attribute morality to nature?
Because morality is a human construct. You can't say nature's bad. Nature isn't good. It's not bad. It just is.
You can say what you like. Yeah, you can say what you like. Right? Nature just is. Fine. Okay.
So
you can say what you like. So when you it's evil though. If you look up the definition of evil, nature would fit evil.
Well, I disagree because if you look at a lion and a gazelle, yeah?
Yeah.
So if a lion is hunting a gazelle and the lion manages to make the kill, that's good for the gazelle. Sorry, good for the lion, but it's bad for the gazelle.
Yeah.
But in terms of the overall perspective, nature doesn't look at it from that lion's bad because it's just eaten that gazelle. Or that lion's good because it's taken another grass eater off the plains. Do you know what I mean? That's not nature. Doesn't look in them sort of balances. It just is. Nature just exists. It doesn't try and attribute right or wrong.
And
well, I think that it's a mistake to try and attribute morality to nature. There is nothing that you can't say that either the lion, you can't say the lion's evil because it's fed itself.
No,
and you can't say that the gazelle's good because it's a victim.
Evil, yeah. The lion has done something evil. It doesn't have any choice in the matter, right? But it has done something evil.
Right. So how do you prescribe eating as being evil?
And the creator of all this shit, right, allowed all this evil to happen. Which makes
I think that's where you're falling down, Danny.
Evil, pure evil.
I think that's where you're falling down.
Why is that?
It's the idea that we have a creator in which to divine these moralities from in the first place.
If there's no creator, then there's evolution. And evolution is an evil force. It's an evil, terrible, terrible force because it works on the survival of the fittest. It doesn't give a crap about all the people that have all the collateral damage, right? And in fact, it works like that. It works like that. We are here by mistake. We're here by mistake.
It's
That's how
attributing
nature wo- that's how
morality.
evolution works. It's
It's
horrific.
attributing morality to a natural process. It's like saying that plate tectonics are evil because they result in earthquakes, and the earthquakes kill people.
No,
It's a
not that
natural process.
It's
You
not
can't-
that the plate tectonics are evil. The whole thing is just pure nastiness. The whole thing is nastiness. It's just nasty.
Is there
Entropy.
nothing?
It's
Entropy,
nasty
then.
and vindictive and full of cruelty. It's just cruel.
So the DNA is trying to survive in the entropy, basically,
Say that again.
forever. The DNA is trying to survive within
Yeah.
entropy, basically, forever, as long as it
It's
can.
trying to survive forever, and it's managed to survive for millions and millions of years by using all of us as its survival machines.
Like a surrogate, or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Are you your DNA, Danny?
Good question. I mean, my DNA is in every part, every cell of my body. So that's a bit of a problem.
Are you your DNA?
I don't know who I am. I don't know who anybody is.
Well, because the reason that I ask that question is that
I don't think I'm just my DNA, but DNA is in every cell of my body. And
it's also
like
in
the-
it's
is it
also
like
in your
the
brain
program,
cells.
like-
I can.
is it like the
I can.
program?
It's very, very rare, unfortunately, for human beings to do this. But I think that I can. I don't know whether it's an illusion of free choice, but I think that I can overcome my DNA. I think we all do override our DNA on a rate. That's what makes us human, the ability to override our DNA. So, for example, I mean, even contraception is a form of overriding DNA.
Yeah.
I think I think it overrides a biological impulse.
Yeah, but the biological impulse comes from your DNA coding, which is all, and whose only interest is to replicate. That's what it's here to do. Use your body to replicate itself for no good reason, because your DNA. Why would you want to pass your stupid DNA on to some other poor, unsuspecting being? Your little devilish DNA that is just, is going to program you so that it can survive by making you want to survive, right? And also program you to, once you reach the age of 12, to start wanting to have sex with everybody, right? It's awful. Why would you want to give that over to somebody else?
I don't know. I say if you don't use it, it's a wasted opportunity.
Come
Do
on.
you?
Do you really think that? You really haven't thought that through properly, have you? You're just throwing out some comment that you haven't really thought through properly. That's a ridiculous thing to say.
I'm being serious.
What are you talking about?
No,
What are you talking about? How old are you, mate?
What do you mean?
How old
What?
are you? Listen, local. How old are you?
Look, I haven't got any kids. Look, everyone on the panel has
I know.
got kids.
I know. I good, and I respect you for that. How old are you?
But
How old are you?
when there's in the future, hopefully there's a chance that I can reproduce.
Why is that exactly? What the hell do you want to do that for?
Well, why
A
not?
missed opportunity? What, a missed opportunity to give someone cancer? A missed opportunity to have someone endure being bullied or being a bully themselves? A missed opportunity for dementia? A missed opportunity for another person to need an iPhone?
This is the
A missed
current
opportunity for what?
You're very, very pessimistic, Donny.
Yeah, I am bloody pessimistic. You're bloody right.
If we was living in trees, you wouldn't be saying this. You'd be saying, "Let's have more kids."
What do you mean if I'd be living in trees?
You
How
know,
does that work
if
out?
our culture weren't living in skyscrapers, and houses next to each other.
Listen, you
it
still
was
haven't told me, yeah? You say it's a wasted opportunity. Are you saying that you've wasted loads of opportunities now because you've reached the age of 20, whatever it is you are? You could have had 10 kids by now. That's terrible. You
No.
wasted all those opportunities.
One
Rubbish.
is enough. One is enough. Even if I'm 50, one is enough.
What do you
I'm
mean
gonna
one
have
is
a
enough?
house.
Why do you need any?
Instead of my house going towards the state, might as well just give it to the child.
Oh, so you need to create someone so that they can have your stupid house, if you even have one. Ridiculous.
Exactly.
What's a ridiculous idea?
Yeah.
To bring someone into existence with all the problems that that cat has, so that you can give him a house. Why don't you just give your house to poor people?
What would have happened if their parents had made the same decision and not had any kids either?
Nothing.
There'd be no poor people.
No, yes, exactly. There'd be no poor people. Perfect.
So what would
There
happen
need
to his
be any
house then?
poor people. Exactly. There would be no poor people. Thank God for
Yeah,
that.
but then,
That would be great
but if
there
there's,
were no poor
but
people.
here's the thing,
Let's
Danny.
be poor people.
If there's no people,
Yeah.
there's no one to maintain these houses. These houses would eventually fall in.
I've lost you.
Hello.
Sorry, did I go off then? I said, if there's no human beings, the houses that those human beings would eventually fall into disrepair, and they'd crumble and turn to dust because they're not being maintained. But that'd be terrible. That.
Why would it be terrible?
Well, because I'm making a morality judgment, just as you did about all the human suffering. I'm making a morality judgment that houses falling into disrepair and crumbling into dust is a terrible thing.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody can make those morality judgments about anything, can't they?
Yeah, you can do what you like. You can do what you like, and we can have a conversation about all the general morality of, extinction or not extinction, and what would happen if that. Right, but I'm just want to keep bringing you back, my friend. Yeah, you tell me if you want to be. If you want to be, you don't have to, because morality is just, a human construct. But if you do want to be a wise, loving, intelligent, logical being, yeah, why on earth would you bring a new set of problems into existence, right? And I'll tell you the answer. It's because you're a fucking narcissist and you want narcissistic supply, like it's written here, right? Reproduction is at root, when fully considered, nothing but parental narcissistic supply, right? Pure ego aggrandizement, nothing to do with the child, right? And so you're basically bringing a child onto an unfair ground, right? Because life is unfair, completely unfair. It's out of your control, right?
Is that a judgment?
Good time here or not?
Yeah.
Life is unfair, and you are dragging it for your own benefit, your own narcissistic supply into existence, because you don't want to miss an opportunity.
Is that a judgment that could be ascribed to all reproduction, not amongst other animals and not just human beings?
Yes, it can, but the other animals can't do anything about it. You can.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, when a lizard or a turtle, for example, comes up onto the beach and lays clutches of thousands of eggs at the same time as hundreds of the same of her species on the same beach on the same night, and they time it so that all the eggs will hatch at the same time and make their way down to the ocean at the same time to minimize the to maximize the probability that at least one of their offspring will survive. Yeah. So that in itself, is that ego aggrandizement when they lay those eggs?
No, it's not.
Does a turtle have ego?
DNA, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's
DNA
not ego.
Reproducing.
No, it's that.
So how can you ascribe?
They're just programmed to do that.
By that token, Danny, how can you ascribe the human instinct? How can you you ascribe the human instinct to procreate as purely the aggrandizement of ego when animals who don't have ego also reproduce?
Okay, let me think about that for a moment.
Because we have the intelligence to have a choice. I suppose.
That's debatable.
Well, then yes, that is debatable, right? I agree with you. Yeah, most of us are too fucking stupid, right? Like I was, right, to even consider it fully. This is what he's saying here. Look, reproduction is at root when fully considered, right? So I'm talking about for humans, when humans fully consider carefully what's going on with their reproduction, yeah, because they know, unlike all the lizards don't know what they're doing. They just do it because they're programmed to do it. But the humans know. And if the humans think about it carefully enough, they'll realize that they're just doing it for parental narcissistic supply. They're not doing it for not doing it for the child, are they? You didn't have a
But
kid with a child.
when you're like 19 to like, I don't know, early 20s, you're going around and I don't know, trying to sleep with as many women as you can. That's your DNA, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So that's like a natural instinct. You're not thinking about having kids, are you?
No,
You're
I
just
agree
thinking
with you.
about
That
having
part
sex.
of it, that part of it is not the narcissistic supply, right? I agree with you that although it is right because you're having sex, that's a kind of narcissistic supply. Quite often it is as well. Like some guys and some women want to have someone to tell them they love them, I love you. That's all narcissistic supply, right? So it is a kind of narcissistic supply, but wanting to be a parent, yeah, that is like, when you think about it, that is narcissistic supply, right? Because there are plenty of people that actually want to become parents, like Local, because he's he wants narcissistic supply. He doesn't consider it. He hasn't considered it for one moment from this child's point of view. Who would want him to be their dad? I mean,
Danny, have you compensated your children then?
Well, I do all the time.
You compensate them for the inconvenience of their existence?
Yes, absolutely.
So if they're adequately compensated for the inconvenience of their existence, what's the problem?
Well, because
surely your contribution to their lives should ameliorate any suffering that they experience.
What's the problem? Because you can't alleviate all their suffering with money and situations that are, money can help, but it's not going to be. It doesn't
That's
get.
all you need.
What's
That's
that?
all you need for a good life is money.
No, it's not.
Well, no, there's knowledge and there's loads of little things you teach your kids, isn't it?
Health and mental health.
Have you apologized to your children for bringing them into existence?
By the way, and luck, a shitload of luck you need, because it's not fair. The game, it's not a fair game.
Have you apologized to your kids for bringing them into existence?
Of course I have.
So I don't know if my parent apologized to me for bringing me into existence, I would have real feelings of confliction, because that would mean that my parents regretted bringing me into existence. And that's a horrible thing to tell your child. I regret bringing you into this world.
It's not. Firstly, it's not. That's a mistaken thinking, right? Because regretting is, to me, I don't use that word. It doesn't come up in my world, because I'm just completely. I mean, it's a useless way of thinking.
But an apology is an expression of regret, Danny, and you said that you apologized to your kids.
Yes, because I didn't think about it properly at the time. Yeah, but that doesn't mean, I don't spend my time regretting that I did that, because I couldn't do anything but what I did. It wasn't like I didn't think it through properly, because I couldn't think it through properly, because I didn't know how to think it through properly. Therefore, I'm not to blame any more than my parents are to blame for bringing me into existence, right? So if my father was to apologize for bringing me into existence, I would be really, really touched by it, right? And really thankful that he'd had the insight and understanding that actually what he did was really irresponsible, and he wasn't prepared. He didn't know what he was doing, right? He wasn't in the right. He didn't have the right, the right tools, he wasn't developed enough in many areas to do the right thing as a father, which is extremely difficult. You have to be, in my opinion, to be a good father, you have to be good at a hell of a lot of things, right?
Well, by your token, Danny, in order to be a good father, you need not to have children.
Correct. I agree with that. And one of my sons.
So that makes it moot, doesn't it?
Don't bring children into existence, but you can still be a father. You can adopt, for example. You can foster. You can be a step parent. You can be a godparent. Right, and you can be good at those.
So
not good at them.
Are you thankful or grateful for your children? Are you thankful for them?
Am I thankful to who?
Well,
to who?
To the creator, to the universe, or whatever for bringing your children into your life.
To them. No, the creator of the universe is, to me, the creator of evil, the creator who created evil and allowed terrible evil to happen and made sex pleasurable.
What is evil?
If there is a creator, which
what is evil, really, Danny?
By the way, just want to say something. I don't really like labels, but if there is a label that I'm sort of into at the moment, or sometimes I would call myself an atheist, which is someone who is apathetic about whether God exists. I'm not interested in whether God exists because God is so undefinable by definition.
I like that.
It's a moot
I like
argument,
that term.
right? But what I am more interested in is if this God of yours or mine does exist and it's some kind of creator, yeah, is it benevolent or not? That's more interesting, right? And to me, I can only see a possibility of it being malevolent to create all this suffering and all this pain and all this madness, all right? And to make sex like a trick, right? To trick people into having children. This is that's just pure evil. I mean, I tell you, I liken it to this. Imagine if I had technology, right? I could create a chocolate bar, right? And I created this amazing chocolate bar with beautiful gold wrapping, yeah? But it was a magic chocolate bar that made women pregnant. And I went round like trying to tempt women into having this chocolate bar that made them pregnant accidentally, right? If I did that, I'd be regarded as an evil pervert. But that's what God did by creating sex.
So my thought is this. Would it be fair to say that evil could be defined as the absence of good?
Could be defined. I guess it could be. You can define things however you want to. Right?
So
I don't know where you're going.
I think what I'm getting at.
Evil has many definitions. We can look them up and talk them through.
Well, I mean, the absence of good, the opposite of good, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
What I'm saying is that evil is normally placed on a whether you call it a spectrum, whether you call it a binary,
yeah,
an either or, a duality.
Yeah.
Evil and good go hand in hand, do they not?
Yes.
So when you're saying that the universe, the creator existence, has brought into being all this evil, and you see evil everywhere, Danny, by the sounds of it.
Yes, I do.
Where do you see the good? And why do you not rejoice because that good's there in the first place? Because if there was no good, there'd be no evil because there's nothing to contrast it against.
Good. There'd be no good and no evil.
When you see the wrong, you can't go back.
Right? The way I see it is like this, right? Let's go for the Bible because that's a good one. A lot of people believe in the Bible, right? So the story of Adam and Eve, yeah, to me is, I mean, and I mean, whatever. I don't know how many people. I don't know if you think it's a. To me, it's obvious that it's a myth, right? It's not like a story about two people who ate from an apple from a tree. They didn't eat an apple. There was no tree, right? It's a myth, right? It's a story, right? So therefore, there's no apple, there's no tree. So what's this? All this apple and tree and serpent and all that, right? To me, what I think that means, what I make it mean, right? It doesn't really matter whether it means it or not. It's just a book that some blokes wrote, right? As far as I'm concerned, right? But I make it mean something quite simple, which is that Eve tried to. I mean, Eve couldn't help it, right? But Eve basically was equipped with a set of trapdoors, right? A vagina, right? Right. Adam was equipped with a terrible sausage of mass destruction, right? A weapon of mass destruction, which was housed on top of a bioweapons factory, with sperm being the most dangerous bioweapon known to mankind, the cause of all illness, all madness, all everything, right? And so in the Garden of Eden, where everything was meant to be perfect, right, in the story, yeah, Eve was programmed to tempt Adam, right, with the apple. What was the apple? It wasn't an apple. Don't be silly. Adam wouldn't be fooled to go for
it. Was a fanny.
Yes, that's right. An apple is a fanny, right? So Eve was saying, come into my fanny, right? And you'll have a lovely, lovely feeling. Oh, it'll be lovely, right?
And it was a snake that did it, wasn't it?
Yeah, the snake, exactly, the penis, right? So he was saying, come into my fanny with your penis, right? And it'll be wonderful. And then supposedly God, who was at that stage maybe a good God, right, said, hold on a minute, you don't want to be doing that, because if you do that, you're going to be eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which means if you do that, you're going to create another being that will have first-hand knowledge of good and evil, right? Which is a terrible thing to do, because that means they're going to have first-hand knowledge of evil. In order for them to have first-hand knowledge of good, they're going to have first-hand knowledge of evil. And there is absolutely no reason to drag someone into existence for the sake of some orgasms or some nice fruit or some friendships, or even for the sake of some romance for a few years, right? There's no reason to bring them here so that they have first-hand knowledge of evil. And sometimes that first-hand knowledge can be terrible, terrible evil. It can be the evil of abuse. It can be the evil of bullying. It can be the evil of being bullied. It can be the evil of disability, which I think is a terrible, terrible thing, which I wouldn't want for myself, and I wouldn't want for my children. And I don't think there's anything bad about disabled people, and it depends what the disability is. And I've got a Down syndrome nephew, and he's very cute and all that, right? But this, the thing about Adam and Eve is that the sin was to fall for the apple, fall for that pussy, right? Fall for that nice feeling for a few seconds, right? And to create a being and experience evil. That is terrible.
I think the story of Adam and Eve was an attempt by the religious authorities at the time to minimize and to villainize women within the society to maintain a patriarchal control structure.
Okay, that's fine. You can make it mean whatever you want. I don't really care what it actually means. I make it mean what I make it mean. And what I'm saying to you is that I want you to refute the idea that creating a being that can experience evil firsthand it should be unfathomable for us to do, right? It's unfathomable to create a being that can experience child abuse. Why?
Then equally, to create a human being that can experience the joy and ecstasy that life has to offer, if it's unfathomable that we could create a human being that could experience evil, surely it should be the opposite of unfathomable, which would be essential, yeah, that we create human beings that can experience the good.
No, absolutely
Why not?
The good never, ever outweighs the bad because, number one, right, if you ask the overwhelming majority of people, if you ask them if you could have an hour of the most excruciating pain you can ever imagine, followed by an hour of the most amazing orgasms you could ever imagine, would you take it? Most of them would say no, absolutely not, because you can't compare the two. That's number one. Number two, pain can go on for a very, very, very long time, right? And pleasure is nearly always fleeting. Very, very, very rare for it to go on for long, right? It's nearly always fleeting, right? So to bring someone in just to have some pleasure of some sort, to see a sunset, or I don't know, to feel loved by someone, even though that's all an illusion as well, right? But to bring someone into that, yeah, is, in my opinion, does not in any shape or form justify bringing someone in to experience the evil of child abuse or the terrible evil of fibromyalgia. I mean, fibromyalgia, why would you want that? Would you want to create a child that ended up having fibromyalgia, being in agony for years on end? I mean,
obviously you wouldn't. No parent would want that. But if it happened, you would love your child no less because it happened.
Why take a gamble? For what?
Because again, that pesky biological imperative, mate.
I know.
I mean,
I know, and in a way, I think that the game should be that should be our adversary. It should be our adversary, and we should gain mastery over it, because otherwise, it's going to get us in all sorts of trouble, and that applies to all of our addictions, right? All of our addictions, including sex, which so many people are addicted to, and they don't have control over their own DNA. Our DNA, we should become aware that we are, the devil is within.
Hey, can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Oh, thank you. That'd be nice. Danny Shine, I speaks to, is it?
Yes.
Hello, Danny Shine.
Hello.
Has you ever tried the not having sex for a long time, maybe a couple of months, and you do trigger the special thing that be in the brain? Has you ever tried that?
Yes, I've tried that.
Or does it work? Is it special? Does you get insight into the spiritual world?
I don't know.
Oh, did it not get it for you?
No.
What happened? Please tell me, enlighten me.
Well, I'm not sure I've done it for 2 months. I don't think I've done that.
People do it for a long time. I mean,
I know they do, right? Maybe it would be a good idea for me to do it. But so what? What's the point?
What's the point?
Yes. What point are you trying to make in terms of what I've been saying?
Oh, I'm just curious of whether you have abstained from the sexual intercourse.
No, but I think it's a very good idea, and it's something that I am very seriously considering.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. I've tried. It has to be honest. You've tried it? Difficult, though, because of the programming.
Say that again?
It is very difficult to abstain from the sexuality because we have been programmed to fuck constantly.
I know, it's terrible.
It'd be a beautiful thing, fucking. Don't
not.
Get me wrong, but
all I want to do is do it.
Bigger. The fact that it's connected to reproduction is an absolute horror. It's just unbelievable. Yes. It fills me with horror. It's nasty.
But as you abstain from that thing for a substantial amount of time, and how much time would that be? How long have you gone without orgasmic?
Whatever. I will experiment with it, and I'll let you know.
Oh, Surely you have experimented, no?
Yeah, go on. Why don't you tell me your experience?
Oh, well, I went about 3 weeks and I couldn't cope no more. It was quite simple.
Fair enough.
I went
How was
3
that?
weeks.
How was the 3 weeks?
Oh, I had a fucking hard-on, boy. From like 7 days was terrible.
Oh, you had a hard on for 7 days?
No, after 7 days without
Oh, after
ejaculation, it would be quite a thing to undertake, you know.
The female currently in my life wouldn't allow me to go 3 weeks without it.
Oh well, I did it, my friend. Trust me, I was nearly there, but I felt like I wasn't there. If I'd only gone a couple more, maybe 3-4 days, I would have been enlightened. But I shit out. I couldn't help it. In fact, I think I came in my pants.
Thanks. That's slightly too much information, but thanks for sharing anyway.
It's okay. I like that.
We did go from a highbrow intellectual discussion to that.
Fair enough. It's always good to, like, lighten it up a little bit.
Oh, God.
So I don't know if there is a good and evil. I just think there is. Like the universe, everything's designed to break down and recycle and reproduce again. Whether it be like galaxies, whether it be small viruses on planets within those galaxies. I don't know. Everything is programmed to.
It's a human construct. Morality, good and evils, invented by humans.
Yeah.
Worse still, it's invented by religions.
It's a construct, a mind construct, good and evil, I suppose.
Yeah, of course it is. It's a thought construct.
But at the same time, I do get what Danny's saying. Being unresponsible, bringing something into, like the fair ride he was going on about, with all those bad things.
But what Danny failed to mention in that particular example was that there has to be some sort of motivating factor to take the risk to take your child on that fairground ride in the first place. Does that make sense?
Say that again.
So you said you wouldn't send your kids on that fairground ride because you'd be worried that they'd be beheaded or they could get cancer or all these other potential nasty things that could happen to them.
Yeah.
But
I can like take care of people who are already here. I don't need to drag new people into the game. I can help people play the game who are already here, or help them get out of the game if they've had enough of playing the game.
So you don't think that there's any justification for bringing a child into the world?
Well, I've never heard one. If you can come up with one, I'd be happy to, I've never heard one that makes any sense to me whatsoever. But if you've got one, go for it.
Well, it's you said that you identified earlier as an apatheist.
An apatheist, yeah. I don't care about. Yeah. I'm just not that interested in whether God exists.
Well, I consider myself to be a cynical agnostic.
Okay.
And it's not that I'm not intelligent enough to be able to lay claim to know whether or not God exists.
Right.
I err on the side that he probably doesn't. But I'm fairly fucking certain that if he does, he's an absolute fucking prick.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly it. This is exactly what I'm saying.
However,
yeah.
By that token, I wouldn't say. I would say that it's also my belief that we are the universe experiencing itself subjectively.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order to make a morality judgment on existence, we are judging ourselves when we do this. We are judging the universe, and therefore, because we are the universe manifest and having a human experience, we are just judging ourselves. So basically, what you're describing is internal angst.
Yeah, I'm judging myself. Absolutely, of course.
But then,
I mean, I'm judging myself, but I'm also like, I'm aware that yeah, I'm also aware that it's an illusion. The whole thing is.
It is an illusion.
Illusion, because I can't. It's not like I've really I didn't choose to think like I think. I just think like I think.
I think you've chosen what you've chosen to do is pick up the books that you've chosen to pick up. I mean, it's that whole confirmation bias thing.
I'm not sure. I think that I chose to pick those up either.
I think that confirmation bias plays a big part into people's mental processes. Obviously, we seek out information that actively supports the conclusions that we've already made.
Yeah,
and I think that the literature that you'll be exposed to will be essentially curated by your own mind, whether consciously or subconsciously, to support the opinions that you already hold.
I agree, and that's a huge problem of what on earth we can even say we understand or we know or yeah, I agree with you. The only thing I would say about this particular thing, right, is that so far the most intelligent people I've asked have not been able to refute or answer the question. Yeah. Even ChatGPT can't answer the question, right?
Have you ever spoken to a Buddhist about your ideas, Danny?
Yeah.
What's the thoughts behind somebody who experiences the world from that viewpoint?
I don't know. I'd have to recreate that whole experience. I don't remember. I mean, it was, they kind of, some of the ideas that they kind of do gel with, and some they don't. So,
because the thought process behind Buddhism is that in order to transcend the suffering that we experience we're in this existence, and how we live in this existence determines the level of suffering that we experience in our next life.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I do find that quite obnoxious.
You find it obnoxious?
Yeah, that idea I find really, really obnoxious.
Why would you choose that particular word?
Why? Because it's basically kind of blaming people for sort of, for having a really bad time here and for bad luck, what I would call bad luck. That's what it's doing, where nobody asked to be brought here, and therefore how can someone be punished, so to speak? It feels very much like a punishment. How can someone be punished for for just
what do they call it?
Reality.
Karmic retribution from a past life.
I find that very obnoxious. Very obnoxious.
I don't think obnoxious is a word that I think naive.
Okay, maybe naive as well. Yeah.
I'd certainly say it's a mindset, in my opinion, that would be held by people that didn't know any different.
Yeah.
Because it does make some certain logical sense when you consider that we essentially spring from our mothers, but from the ground essentially, because everything that we eat comes from the soil. And then when we die, we pass back into that soil. So it does complete a cycle and a circuit. And it's natural that the human brain might draw an association with the cycle of life, the circle of life, if you want to crib Disney and the Lion King. But that would be something that was in existence, because we see cycles everywhere else in nature. So why wouldn't the cycle of birth and death be exactly the same?
Right, and therefore what?
Well, it's not an obnoxious opinion to hold, because it's not seeking to cast judgment on people. The position that people hold within their present existence is not judging them for actions that they've done within the existence that they hold at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It's a consequence of this cycle. And if someone was really, really bad in a past life, they wouldn't even have been reincarnated into a human form in this life, because human beings were considered to be one of the higher forms.
I mean, again, it's kind of a feeble attempt to explain away the huge amount of suffering. It's the feeblest excuse to explain away a kind of a terrible design, and we can go back to the human race and transhumanism. You see, David Pearce, again, there's problems with what he says, various problems, but David Pearce, he admits that the design, Darwinian evolution is just awful. It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. It's just like, imagine if we went to I don't know, some kind of corporation in the future, right? And you had to pay for a child. You had to pay, I don't know, £100,000 for a child. I mean, there are people doing that these days with IVF and everything. But let's just imagine you went to some human manufacturing corporation and
a baby factory.
What's that?
A baby factory.
Yeah, baby factory, right? And you got out, you got your baby, but you didn't know whether the baby was going to last for more than, 1 year, 10 years, 15 years, not like a car. At least a car, you got a good chance it's going to last for 30 years.
You get a warranty with a car as well.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But this one, you get no warranties, right? It can have all sorts.
But it doesn't even come with a fucking instruction manual, Danny.
Exactly.
No service book.
No service book, no nothing, right? And look at us. Look at us. We don't know what we're doing here, most of us, right? I mean, I can tell you from my own life, right? Even though I feel extremely lucky, like, I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with my, with the lizard part of myself, right? I'm still trying to work it out. We don't know what we're doing here, right? And we're terribly designed. Our minds are so. I mean, look at what happened over COVID, right? It's a good example, right? Look at what the rubbish people believed, what rubbish smart people, really, really smart, intelligent people who've got degrees, doctors, professors, and everything. Look at the rubbish that was coming out of their mouths, or look at the rubbish they believed. It's just rubbish. I'd go back to the manufacturer of these people and say, I want my money back. Well, ridiculous. We're worse than the bloody animals who are also badly designed. At least they don't engage in loads of self-destructive thinking and behaviors.
The curse of sentience.
Yes.
It wasn't rubbish.
What?
It wasn't rubbish. It was.
What wasn't rubbish?
It was to keep us safe.
What do you mean?
Oh,
I see. You mean the COVID stuff?
The lockdown.
Yes, I know.
Did you enjoy being herded into your pen?
Well,
I enjoyed. I have to admit, I'm sorry to have to say, but I enjoyed other people being herded into their pens.
Oh, I did. Immensely, yeah.
Great.
I
Nice
really,
and
really
brutal.
enjoyed driving while there were no one on roads. It was awesome.
Yeah. We went to the beach once, and right in the middle of it all, it was fantastic. There were just a few people there, and the odd policeman coming along saying, "What are you doing here?" I think, and that was it. And it was just us.
I was
Beautiful, the whole
working
thing
and
to
doing
ourselves.
No, I was
Brilliant.
working and doing the protests and going
Yeah.
out with you, filming.
Yeah.
Well, I know you didn't isolate local, but you know, it's. I think that the coronavirus thing was blown out of all proportion.
Oh yeah, I know, and and just think how ridiculous the humans are that they fell for it. B, how awful the humans are that willfully did it, and how stupid the humans are that didn't even do it willfully. They spread this disinformation, because they thought it was the right thing. It's just rubbish. Just the whole design of human mind is just rubbish. The whole design of the human body is very, very clever and complicated, but also really rubbish. Too many things can go wrong with it.
Do you not think it's like just limited though, and we're only using a small percentage of it, or we could use
We
far
might
more?
be, but that's also part of the design fault. It's part of the design fault. Because if you design something that only uses a small percentage of its power and it's held back by some nonsense, then that's a design fault.
Excuse me. Fuck. Ah. Well, if it's any consolation to you, Danny, I'm currently suffering.
I'm sorry to hear that. Why would it be consolation to me? I don't want you to suffer.
Well,
The virus is
it just proves your point. Yeah, I've got a chest infection.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Wish you better.
Well, thankfully,
I blame your creator for this. Your creators.
I blame the bacteria that have taken root in the middle of my chest.
Yeah, them too.
And I'm thankful for the antibiotics that I'm taking that's going to wipe them out.
Okay. I hope it works.
Well, it feels like it has already. I mean, I'm nowhere near as bad as I was yesterday.
Oh, that's good.
Blame. That's an interesting word I want to touch on. Like why, you're blaming. You're saying that you're blaming the virus that's spreading in your body, or we blame our parents because they brought us into existence. What does blame? What does it mean? Does anyone have any?
The negative appropriation of responsibility.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's what blame is, isn't it? But remember, when you point the finger at anyone, there's three fingers pointing back at you.
But is it also relevant, like just blaming? We can't, I can't help that my parents brought me into the world, and so I can't. Is there any point me sitting here going, "Oh, fuck's sake"?
No, well, I mean, there is and there isn't. I mean, it doesn't help to. I mean, I think you have to go through the stage of like becoming aware that what they. So, for example, let's take an interesting example. What happens if your parents went out when they were like teenagers, right, and they got drunk, and maybe they. I'll tell you even better than this. Let's say that your parents, one evening they went out, they got drunk, they knew full well what they were doing, they'd been warned about this before, but they got drunk, they just had unprotected sex, and they brought you into existence. They hated each other, right? And they, and your life was quite difficult. Maybe your mother was a single mother or something like that, just as an example, right?
She was, yeah.
What's that?
She was, yeah.
Yeah. And what I think the reckless behavior, when someone's reckless, if someone like goes out and drinks loads and loads of alcohol and then goes out on the street and in a car and smashes and hits someone, do you say, oh, never mind, I don't want to hold anything against the people because they're not to blame really, and the truth is they're not to blame on some level, but I think it's at first you have to acknowledge that they've done something that's seriously reckless, right? And that they are responsible for that. They should be responsible for this reckless behavior, and it's caused a lot of chaos and a lot of problems for you, right? And therefore, I think it is good to go through a stage of at least recognizing that actually their decision to have a nice time one evening has affected you in a huge way, right? And has created problems for you. Yeah. And so if you recognize that, then you can, and they, for example, if you recognize that and they have some kind of financial, they have some kind of finances behind them, you can not feel guilty about having them support you, right? Because you don't, the only reason why you have to work is because of them, right? So I think it is important to understand that they are to blame for all your problems, and at the same time, like I say to my children, right, that although I am to blame for all their problems, at the time of their conception, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't I didn't think it through properly. Yes, but I didn't, it wasn't a malicious thing to do. It was just extremely reckless. And if I'd have been drunk at the time and I didn't even want a child, it would have been even more reckless, right? So I think, yes, you're right. On the one hand, it's no good, if you hold resentment towards your parents for doing what they did, then you're just going to get to feel bad, and it's not going to help anybody, right? But I think I think we should hold our parents responsible. I don't think we should honor our parents, for example, like the Bible says. What a load of bollocks. Why should you honor your parents? What, because they had a shag? What's there to honor about that? I don't honor Rishi Sunak's parents. Why should he?
DeWitt says,
I suppose you could say, whilst, like if, my mum's still around, I try and, I don't sit there and go, oh, thanks, Mum, that's amazing. I just try and be a good person, a good son, and help her out every now and then. Not because, like, I think she was brought into this world with, the same way I was brought into this world, reckless thinking, blah, blah, blah. But what was I touching on? But yeah, I think it's just like being a good person for the sake of it, not like, is where I was getting at.
Listen, I take my dad for a walk as often as I remember to, right? He lives near me. He's 84, right? I don't like treat him badly. I don't hold resentment towards him because he's just still a kid in an adult's body, right? He's quite emotionally, he's quite like, he's very childlike in a way still. And he was when he had me, and he did the best he could. He didn't know what he was doing. Everyone else was doing it. He was part of a religion. He did it fine. But there's no point in my holding resentment towards him for it. I don't hold a resentment towards him, but I don't think that I owe him any respect for doing it, or honor, or thanks. I don't think so. I can be thankful that I'm thankful that I was relatively, that he provided for me. Other people had it a lot worse. I'm thankful that he was quite generous. I'm thankful that he tried to give us a good education. We did have a fairly good education. There's things I can be thankful for, but not for having me, and not for just because he's my dad.
Wow, 12 o'clock. I'm going to have to bow out in a minute, you know, local.
Where are
Yeah,
you based? Isn't there someone
we'll
here
get
in
them
America?
soon,
Someone?
soon.
I'm in Brighton, or near Brighton.
Do you work?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
do?
I've got to be up at 6.
Okay.
Well, golf course.
Oh, really? What do you do there?
Just a bit of everything, really. A bit of gardening, a bit of
Do you
taking the
enjoy it?
money. Yeah, it's all right. It's yeah. It's not even in the top 50 jobs that I'd love to do, but
Right.
I suppose it.
Better than working in a bread factory.
I earn enough money to have a half decent existence, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to earn more. I'm not looking. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. All right then.
So many jobs I'd love to do, but
Yeah.
It's been a great chat though tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry
Thank
if
you,
I went
Danny
on a bit.
Chan.
No, it's good.
Apologies.
I
What are
love
we
all
talking
views.
about? What are we talking about next week?
I don't know. We'll have to come up with that, innit?
I like
Isn't-
your disclaimer. Very good.
Yeah, hopefully it works. I tried it on a live stream, and the live stream is still up, so I should
Right.
mention it. Currently, I'm striked. I got a strike on YouTube.
Oh, have you? For what?
Yeah, misinformation.
It's so funny because, like, the government are the professionals, the corporations are literally professional misinformers. That's what they do. You know, what do you think? Like,
No.
advertising is misinformation.
I can't question them when I'm using
I know.
YouTube.
I know.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So whatever you're saying is wrong, and if the government is right, Danny
That's
Shine.
true. That's true. You're right.
Government is
I
right.
love the government.
Yes.
Let's hooray, yippee for the government. May they rule over us many years to come. They're amazing.
I'm always taking the piss because of the rules, you know.
But yeah, anyway, peace out. Have a good week.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Take it easy, local man.
So thank you to everybody for joining. Had a good
Maybe
discussion.
3 hours.
This evening. Yeah. We'll be back next week. I'll book the days off. And we'll do it on a Sunday if we can. If not, then a Monday again. Or Tuesday. No, Monday. Yeah. So yeah, see you all next week. Don't know what we're talking about, but we'll know during the week. So
Yeah, man.
see you all soon.
Take it easy, man. Bye.